I'm expecting by 2030 is this type of reference architecture, which would allow us to achieve a ubiquitous connectivity. So without entering into the details, we will have the possibility of enhancing our new radio. I'm thinking of release 17, hopefully supporting the unmanned area vehicles or systems, but perhaps the new radio advanced, so means release 18, 19, and then we will start talking about 6G. What we are expecting here is to achieve ground coverage, air coverage, and space coverage, currently presented as two-dimensional coverage. I'm coming from network design, so I have designed many networks globally. So our job was to say, okay, give me your inputs, and then on a map, to the map, I go through and I display the coverage, capacity, quality, parameter, and so forth. There we will achieve much more than that. So the target is to achieve this performance in a 3D, 3-dimension. And that is possible because you see how the system will evolve with the 5G and 6G, 5G already, let's not go too far, but even the LTE, if you have a proper design of beamforming, we can radiate and connect plenty of objects. So objects that would allow us to achieve not only coverage and use that as an access technique, but would allow us to integrate the system. We discussed about disaggregating the access, and that will also evolve not only on a terrestrial network. The access is going to be disaggregated all over the places, potentially. And you may see here that this will allow us to backhaul the communication and also front haul the communication using features connecting different type of objects, not necessarily, say, deployed on the ground, but on air, and that you have UAV aircraft and on the space using especially the LEO satellites that they range from 300 to 1,500 kilometers. Now, when you put your hands in practice, because I've tried to consolidate these things, you may see that the technologies and the players and the business models are very fragmented. I tried to map on this table the most important development technologies from Wi-Fi, LoRa systems, and then of course cellular terrestrial technology from narrowband and broadband type of machine communications up to the LTE release 14 and then 15. Of course, we talked about the new radio release 17, etc. It's very fragmented, and so what we could, I hope if we had time now, I'd like to discuss with you. I will see the possibility of integrating those systems, or how we could say what kind of technology could be exploited to really achieve a ubiquitous connectivity. And in my view, I think that could be done by first would require to go down in frequency, unless you don't want to complement some return to here. If you go down in frequency, then I think on the ground system, terrestrial system, down in frequency means playing with the 700 megahertz. Australia now it's 850, 900 megahertz, where we'll have I think a cell range of around maybe 30 kilometers. But still, if you have a footprint of 100 to 1,000 kilometers, you really have a challenge to integrate those elements. Therefore, I think we need to have in place something more that on air and on space will allow us to support a front hauling type of interface as well as backhauling. And in addition, I think we need to have also an element of access to the services. Therefore, just in conclusion, I think the fundamental enabling technologies and capability, I think it's about spectrum availability. We need to go down in frequency, and then we need to have a technology which I agree with the earlier speaker, the Wi-Fi. If you look at Wi-Fi, even Wi-Fi 7, 6, I mean, the cell range is extremely small, because if you want to enjoy the bandwidth, you need to transmit at least at 160 megahertz band, and that won't allow you to have more than 50 meters range. Therefore, the deployment of those systems will be extremely local on campus, but it's far from, say, I think, achieving a massive coverage. And then also the capability of having playing on unlicensed spectrum, which, by the way, will be also supported by the new radio in release 16. It is anyway limited. So I think spectrum is important. And when we go up in frequency, I think the only way for us to enjoy those services is to have different type of access points, because going up in frequency, the cell range, or anyway, the range of coverage, I've measured them, even in US, it is extremely limited. So you have a good coverage in line of sight up to maybe 700 meters, but then disappears when you go indoor, and then you cannot think of relaying or distance. So I think we need to introduce something that will be on air and on space. And here I think that the non-terrestrial networks will definitely make the difference, enable new business models, because there will be positive business cases, and practically integrating them, complementing them with terrestrial type of access network will allow us to achieve and say take the services or bring the services in areas where currently it's very hard to get and obtain any kind of signal. And the last thing, we need to find a way to bring the security controls and privacy. And I think here the way forward, in my view, that's my personal view, we need to exploit the concept coming along with the 5G core. I'm not thinking of the core as an element, you may buy it, you may have it, some expenses. I'm thinking of the protocols that are coming with the 5G authentication and key agreement, or extending the protocol from the internet that is supported through the utilization of USIM, which means any device, that could be this, that could be like that one, it could be my pen, anything could be connected and authenticated, authorized, and with also a large degree of accountability, because we need to trace everything in a unified way that is already specified, standardized in release 15 with the 5G core, or better, the stack of non-access stratum and the corresponding end. So thank you so much, Kanesh. I think that was pretty much. If you want to know more about these things, I play a lot with, I'm on LinkedIn, I like to play there, and there I also sharing non-confidential material, which will be also this presentation available here. Okay, thank you.